Hi, and welcome to Hardcover Feedback. I'm Tracey Hill.
And I'm Brandi Smits.
And our book today is The Rock and Roll Queen of Bedlam by Marilee Brothers.
A teacher for dysfunctional teens by day and a singer by night, recently divorced Allegra Tom knows where to find trouble. After disrupting a drug bust by accident, she meets Sloan, a tough, sexy DEA officer. Propelled by an attraction neither can ignore, Allegra and Sloan explore every facet of each other in the most ingenious ways. Soon their light-hearted, passionate encounters take a back seat when one of Allegra's talented students is reported missing under frightening circumstances.
Sloan opens the door and leans against the frame. You're free to go. Chuck will take you to your car. I clomp to the door to squeeze by him. As I turn my head to blister Sloan with one last glare, my walking cast snags the door jamb and I lurch sideways, falling against his body. His arms wrap around me as I teeter off balance. Pressed up against him, I feel a jolt of heat pass between us. The feeling so intense, I inhale sharply, reach up and touch my hair to see if it's standing on end, a la Albert Einstein. Sloan leans down, his breath warm on my face. Good way to break your other leg. Oh yeah, the cast. I feel my anger return. He releases me and I back away to put some space between us. If not for you, my cast would be gone and I'd be on a date with my boyfriend. I pause so he can digest this information and apologize. He doesn't.
Okay, first of all, before we start talking about anything about this book at all, anything, we need to make one thing incredibly clear.
Yes.
This title has nothing to do with this book.
Thank you.
Okay,
That is point number one. If you take away nothing else from what we say about this book, the title has nothing to do with the book.
I picked this book because I love the title.
It was a great title.
I was like, the Rock and Roll Queen of Bedlam, that's a great title. Like, this is gonna be a great story because the title is so inventive and jumps out. And you know what? This book sucks. Like, in comparison, the title is the best part of this book.
The title, and that's sad because the title points up a problem with what I saw in the book was that whoever edited this thing really needed to have a stronger hand in it, needed to give it a title that was more appropriate to the story, which is not a bad story. And also, for crying out loud, based on the passage I just read out loud, the next major problem is Sloan and this whole so-called romance whatever thing between Sloan and Allegra, because it's just ridiculous and it eats up way too much of the book.
And, I mean, she sings, okay, like twice. In the book.
In the whole thing,
In the whole, and she doesn't sing
like
rock and roll.
Rock and roll queen?
She sings like, not like.
It's karaoke.
Yeah, and it's not rock and roll. And
yeah, so she's not
I
really a
can't even
singer.
like develop thoughts
She's
about
not the
this.
queen of anything. Bedlam, I don't know where that part came
There's
from at
Bedlam all over the book.
Because
they should just call the book Bedlam.
Yeah, or something.
Allegra's
but
Bedlam.
Not that, because the whole thing, it was so unrealistic. I mean, the title's unrealistic to the story. The thing with Sloan, the way she meets this undercover agent guy who doesn't tell her anything about himself, and yet they're just so smitten with each other.
And you know,
like, it's ridiculous.
The situation of I'm going to be attracted to a bad boy, and then even though he treats me like crap, it's like the coolest thing ever, and so I totally want to date him even more because he treats me like crap.
Yeah, and her family loves him. Like
everybody
her wacky grandmother,
loves him.
who's actually a pretty amusing character, and her aunt, they
Those
love
are the
him.
best characters
They
in the
think he's
book.
great and stuff. And it's like, if you change the title and you take out this trumped up, in romantic involvement, then you actually kind of have a story underneath it because there's a mystery under all this, but you couldn't tell.
No, and I mean, I'm not gonna really draw the parallels here, but I'm gonna draw the parallels here because they just came to me like a lightning bolt of obviousness.
Oh, well, do share.
Okay, so this is similar to the whole plot line that Twilight has proposed.
Oh, no.
In which the main girl is very clumsy and kind of dumb and blah, 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 and then the guy treats her like crap, but still protects her and tells her what she can and cannot do all the time.
Okay,
That's what's happening in this book.
Now I'm really horrified.
I know.
We each read this thing because, yeah.
But
it's Twilight for grown-ups minus vampires and plus
we'll
like
just
a
throw
missing
in
kid
some
mystery.
DEA agents and pretend
Instead of a vampire,
singing.
he's a DEA agent.
But there's good things, because there is a good thing about this book, as much badness as I've mentioned about it. I did like her relationship with her teens. Her class, like she teaches.
Yeah, they're supposed to be difficult and unruly.
And she's got a
so
really
she gets them all.
But she's got a good handle on all
they
of them.
like her,
and
they respect her, and so she's not a bad character, and yet she's with this chump. She's going after this jerk and after she got out of a really horrible marriage already. It's
that's
like,
the worst
why?
part. It's like, why is everyone in her family going, cool, you should totally go after this cop who treats you like crap after you just got out of an abusive relationship? This sounds like a solid plan.
Yeah, it's like and another relationship is not better than no relationship after something like that. So, but there's the missing girl, it's to touch on that for a moment, because that was the most interesting part, and even though it wasn't necessarily believable, it was a little bit out there in terms of the plotting of it. The vanished girl, and Allegra's nephew, who's trying to look for this girl who's his friend, like, they're some of the smartest people in the book. And all these kids who are supposed to be like unruly and difficult to handle, they're actually like some of the more interesting characters of the book. Why didn't the title focus on that? Why is there all this junk about the romance and this bad DEA agent who's like a bad vampire character?
Like if they would have just gotten rid of the romance, I would have probably really liked this book.
Yeah.
If they would have gotten rid of this stupid romance and changed the stupid title and changed the stupid cover, then this book would have probably been better. But it was like, it wasn't what I wanted. That's not what I picked it up thinking it was going to be. And it was very misleading. It was disappointing. It wasn't even that bad of a book. It was just disappointing, and it wasn't what I was led to believe it was going to be.
Right. I mean,
so,
we're going on about the title so much, but it really set up expectations. You had them, I had them. I can't imagine we were the only two people who read this who didn't expect something completely different out of this book.
And I mean, I don't want to say that it's a horrible book, because it's not really a horrible book. I'm sure there's going to be people who will read it and go, hey, this book isn't horrible. I like this book. Those two girls on the show don't know what they're talking about, blah, blah, blah. Whatever, that's fine. We accept the fact that that happens sometimes, but it's just not what it was presented to be.
No,
and that's why I think it was so
yeah.
poorly received by us.
Yeah.
Because
it could have been better.
Yes.
It would have easily been better with these few changes that we're suggesting.
Yes, so, Marilee Brothers,
if you're listening,
fix your stuff next time around.
Yep.
So,
on
all
that
right.
happy note.
All right, so all in all, I probably give it 2 stars, because I kind of liked it better than that one, but not a whole heap more better, whatever.
I was a little more forgiving of this, in part because I liked our previous books so very little, and then I liked this one better. So I would say 2.5, because I really do blame the publisher in no small part on this one.
Okay, so yeah, 2 stars for me, 2.5 stars for Tracy, and we will see you next time.